Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure I read citations of Senior Professor Udit Krishantha Jayasinghe Mudalige as a distinguished alumnus of PGIA. Professor Jayasinghe Mudalige was born on the 4th of April 1967 in Dunugaha, Gampaha. Born to a family of two, young Udit received his primary education from Ranasinghe Mahavidyalaya, Dunugaha, and then his secondary education from the Royal College, Colombo. And subsequently, he gained entry to the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya in 1990. Udit graduated in 1994 with a BSc in Agriculture degree, securing a first-class honors, setting a record in the 47 years history of the Faculty of Agriculture by obtaining 26 distinctions for 30 subjects offered. I think it is a record even unmatched today, sir. Then Udit went on to further his higher studies. He obtained an MSc in Agricultural Economics from the PGIA and joined the Vyabha University of Sri Lanka as a lecturer in 1996, and then proceeded to University of Guelph, Canada, to pursue his doctoral degree on a Commonwealth scholarship. He graduated with a PhD in Food and Agricultural Economics and Business in 2004. Now, Dr. Udit Jayasinghe Mudalige. He resumed duties at the Department of Agribusiness Management, Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management, Vyabha, as a senior lecturer. In his academic career, Dr. Jayasinghe became the head of the Department of Agribusiness in 2006 and served until 2011. He was promoted to the post of Professor of Agribusiness and the department chair in 2009 and to the post of senior professor in 2017. He was elected the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture and Plantation Management in September 2019 and served until September 2020 and became the Vice Chancellor of Vyabha University of Sri Lanka in September 2020. He currently serves as the Director of the Master of Agri-Enterprise and Technology Management degree program at Vyabha. He also served as the Director of the Staff Development Center for 9 years. Such a bullet train, I must say. Very difficult one to beat and quite daunting to young academics like me. And there is much more to now Professor Udit Jayasinghe Mudalige. He has earned 2 diplomas, 1 postgrad diploma, and 7 senior fellowships, and equivalent accolades from the UK, the USA, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Professor Jayasinghe was Endeavour Visiting Professor at Monash Business School and Fulbright Visiting Professor at Department of Resource Economics, University of Massachusetts, USA. He is a life member of more than 20 national and international professional bodies, including IASSL, IEPSL, INSSE, NSSL, SANDI, SIA, SLIA, CHE, SLAS, SLA FAIR-R, SLA IHEE, SLAQ. Professor Jayasinghe has co-authored more than 150 journal articles, book chapters, working papers, and books, and presented at more than 400 scientific fora in more than 25 countries. His scholarly as well as research contributions have been well recognized nationally. Just to frame a new accolades that he has received: Presidential Award for Scientific Research, National Research Council Merit Award for Scientific Publications, SUSRED Award for Postgraduate Supervision by the National Science Foundation, Young Scientist Award for Research and Professional Development. At present, he wears many hats. He is the Chairman, Sanasa Media Private Limited, Vice Chairman, Sanasa Life Insurance Company, and Executive Director, Sanasa General Insurance Company, a member of Presidential Task Force on Sri Lanka's Education and Business Proposal Evaluation Committee, member of the Standing Committee on Accreditation and Quality Assurance, Ministry of Education, member of the Expert Committee on National Agricultural Policy and National Fertilizer Policy, Ministry of Agriculture. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, he is currently, as you know, the Honorable Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture. And I happened to check the Facebook and I found a latest addition to his long list. He is now the director of the board of National Human Resource Development Council as well. Professor Udit Jayasinghe Mudalige, sir, we are very proud of you, and on behalf of the Alumni Association of the PGIA, I congratulate you. Sir, we fervently hope that your illustrious career continues and you remain humble as always. Thank you.
I cordially invite Senior Professor Udit K. Jayasinghe Mudalige to deliver the speech. Over to you, sir.
Very good evening to everybody. My teachers and their friends, and my friends and their friends, and I would finally say my Goliaths and their Goliaths. So, because we all are agriculturists, so no need to say what we have done. So I would start by saying, I am the secretary of, say, Ministry of Agriculture, and that's it, because I am going to talk from that point. It is almost 160 days, counting if equal to maybe all other 1,600 days of the last 10 years, maybe. Yeah. So I'll be starting with things we have done easily during the last 5 to 6 months with the help of all people from HE, the president, up to all in the ministry and department and in the universities. When I go there, I started by looking at the gaps I wanted to develop national agriculture policy. We wanted to do it, of course, 1 year ago, started last December, but I thought this is the best chance to finish it off. So we have done it with the participation of 13 members committee. 13 is always a bad number, ended up with 12 then. But still, now we have handed it over to the Honorable Minister. I'm expecting the National Agriculture Policy to be implemented, and it will be going to the Cabinet of Ministers, hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, I'm expecting. It is comprised of 178 strategic options under 10 thematic areas and 15 policy statements, and accepted by almost all stakeholders as a well-written national agriculture policy. So we have done, and I could manage, lucky to submit it as the secretary. And then to support that, when we are developing those, what I have seen is lacks in policy, second to which is acts, regulation. Old acts that I am reading was under 1982, 67, 79, nothing in 20 something. So I got the support of all relevant people, department and others, brought all those big, bulky documents and put into different committees to revise them and refine with the participation of experts, with their committees, lawyers and all. And now those also came into an almost end. And we will be able to put all these acts into 2020 or 2022 because almost all acts that are under the Ministry of Agriculture were refined to give a new room, new sort of technologies into which, and working area are updated. So every act, seed to plant to everything was now under construction and at the last stage. Even today we have talked about this at the department level. They are also done, including I was able to develop Fertilizer Act, right? Because Ministry of Agriculture better to be named as Ministry of Fertilizer if it wants to rename. So Fertilizer Act was we developed with a team of members so that fertilizer quantities, qualities, standards, everything to be decided by a committee with the expertise, not on ad hoc basis, with their rights and everything. TRI, CRI, RRI, all RIs, plus the experts and farmers, everybody, a 17-member body is included. They decide what fertilizer to be accepted and so on, because it's a new act. So I am sure that would be able to be produced. So this sort of second thing I have taken to go ahead, because I thought if we can do these two, we clear the macro scale working, and it will be retaining there for at least many years to come. And to support that, I understood we need human resources, because when the regulation there, then we need people to operate those strategies. And I went personally to the examination department, PSC, MSD and all, with my other good friends in agriculture, talk for hours, got all documents, and we were able to bring agriculture service into action after 2013. Right? Earlier there was a saying, even the people at the examination department say, when it's come to final year, agriculture, finally students are not going to Department of Agriculture, assuming they will be recruited. Because that much of vacancies there, they can directly go into that and recruit it. This was the thing. Now, although there are 8 agriculture faculties, nobody was recruited after 2013 into agriculture service. So we were lucky, and finally, with all that hard work, we were able to have those exams by next January. And our agriculture graduates will be able to, based on their merits, come into agriculture service. So decisions on agriculture will be decided by not medicos, but architects or engineers, but by the agriculturist and scientist. So we want to create that macro environment. So I am sure that will be okay. This Department of Examination Director is going on retirement this 30th, but I told him, yeah, he told me, and Professor, I will do your work and make it right. So we have already started filling and not to put any court cases or anything, with the help of Ajanta, the DG and all. So these 3 were okay. And with that agriculture sector, human resource issues and legal issues and policy issues not resolved, not I would say so solutions are given, but at least a good stand was there for people to work as an agriculturist. Then I thought of next our pet area of doing research. And so you may not believe in Ministry of Agriculture is one of the richest ministries that we don't know, right? Its current assets, four out of 50 different projects, medium to small, big projects, agriculture sector modernization project, climate smart irrigated agriculture project, small agriculture participatory projects, SARP to come. I myself was able to go up with the highways ministry on the last 4 months and got the ICDP, Inclusive Connectivity Development Project, and signed. That the ICDP was the largest project coming to Sri Lanka under the funds from World Bank. $500 million. 400 million for the connecting agriculture roads with the dedicated economic centers to make them 20, and each agriculture faculty, finally I put, because I developed the final agriculture part for $50 million or 10,000 million. Out of I put 800 million into 8 faculties to have testing laboratories in the same scale in 8 agriculture faculties, so that they can do the soil testing or whatever testing, organic matters, at a rate very reasonable for the outside people. And they are to be established within faculties, because I know over almost 500 to 600 PhDs, the people with brains are living there. They don't want to go outside and do it. People can come here and utilize those brains. So those projects that collectively 52 billion, and of which 4% were utilized when we go to there, June 10th, when I go there, though only for salaries and few other foreign trips and so on. So now, when it's come to yesterday, I was able to allocate up to 19% of that money on various ends. You would be seen on very, and we have plans. You can see everything is now under a project management plan, monitored by national steering committees, like all DGs, like Jerry and all people are monitoring. Now the monitoring panels are comprised of agriculturists, around 50 to 20 people. And they are working on the same format now. Monitoring is easy through a color code. I'm happy that I could did that part. So all 52 billion, I am planning to be expensed within next 3 years. May not be by myself, but anybody who comes, they are well written now as documentary and with evidence. Project management protocols were set. Anybody can get them, watch them, monitor them, and add into that. So these are the things we have done. 160 days, assuming there is no fertilizer case, because I kept that one out. Ceteris paribus, all these things were done because I thought it is not the Ministry of it is not the Ministry of Fertilizer, it is the Ministry of Agriculture. So agriculture part we did. Then now we come to fertilizer, right? I don't think I should tell, you know better than me what's going on. I don't want to waste my words on that. We were giving all our efforts to make the system right everywhere possible. And I would tell something, if somebody construct a road or carpet it, you are going to see it. But if you conserve, I would say, coastal land with Kalugal and all, nobody is going to see, but that road is going to be saved because of those Kalugal and others we put, so that other people cannot see. So people who know the project management literature, incremental net benefit is not bringing something from flat into up, but keep it in the same level rather than falling further down. So I'm at least happy we were able to keep it at certain level with all efforts. And finally, when it's come to last week, we were invited and asked in the National Science Day. I was there, and I was personally called by the chief and asked, Secretary, now you the people who developed policies, take the support of them and come up with a roadmap. So as soon as I heard that word, I left the place. I started because I want to have an order, right? So it was given in front of many, although it was not written, it was recorded in front of all cameramen, have a roadmap. So for it was happened in last 10th, that day, Science Day. So when it's come to yesterday morning, we have submitted it. I worked with 10 other distinguished people. I was careful to not to select directly the experts into that because of some reasons. But I got the support of people who supported to develop Saubhagya Dakma, right? I was one in that point, agriculture, environment, and education part. I personally participated due to my personal interest on these three areas, to which Professor Abhigunawardena, former Vice Chancellor, Peradeniya, Professor Lamavansa, current Vice Chancellor, and Professor Di Costa, current the leading agronomist in Sri Lanka, Professor Ranjit Premalal, current Vice Chancellor, Technology, Agriculture, Engineering, and several others like Professor Jagatendra Singh from policy point of view, and the Professor Ranjit Senaratne, former Ruhuna Vice Chancellor and agronomist. If I miss any name, there are 11, and the DG Agriculture, we asked Ajanta come, and we were able to come up with short-term plan, emergency response plan, admit. And I'm not going to thanks to these conditions, but we refer to these conditions. We want to have a emergency plan and come up with some emergency plan to recover, to establish availability, accessibility to food, that is food security, stability and safety, because that is our goal. Our goal was nothing, no interpretation, not the songs or not anything, but the prime objective is food security and safety and stability, which should be coming through a input usage. What I learned from Professor Bogavartha, second year, Y is a function of X. No point of managing X when you don't have Y. Right? When you do not know what is the Y. So F is not the F we are telling, it is the function of technology. Right? So unfortunately that F is now become real F. So because this X is not covering into Y. So we have very clearly understood that matter and come up with a very solid plan, and it was submitted to the Chief President and others, and we got very green light to meet him on next Monday because tomorrow and 2 days we will be in Anuradhapura. And I'm going to have a good support from political system. Already they expressed, starting from the speaker and everybody. I'm 100% sure support from the our academic community because I got their comments up and down. And I'm sure about the Department of Agriculture's support. They already expressed their views even today. They are going with that one. And the business people, I'm sure they will be okay because we are going to make the businesses very transparent. And through that, we want to have emergency plan, concurrently go with medium to long-term plan, where all these eco-friendly agricultural inputs and specifically the plant nutrients and other technologies and protectors to be produced in Sri Lanka to reflect those nature. And if not only we will be importing, but these decisions will be taken by not a single person or two, but by an operating cubicle supported by a steering committee, right? What is the quantity, what it could be. So we have gone into a level, a certain fertilizer's name cannot be told. If I say urea, I may be considered as a traitor. That's why I told urea, රෑට මහසෝන දවල්ට රිටිකල ජයසේන. රිටිකල ජයසේනයෙන් අඩුමස්නාමානය ගිහිල්ලා අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා සියලු ශිල්ප රෑට යන්නේ කනත්තකාවින් එයාම මහසෝන වගේ ඉන්නේ. So this is the truth. So that's why the scientists should decide, agronomists should decide what is to be given to the plant, not to the misuse. Misuse, overuse, of course, exploited the use. So it is something like when you are advised to take 2 Panadols, you are getting 6 at every 2 hours and you are going to die. It is not the fault of Panadol. It's the fault of where you are taking it. The same phenomenon, scientific, dynamically administered system is now proposed as the last attempt to overcome, and we want to stabilize the agriculture system with eco-friendly plant protectors and nutrients, which are to be produced in Sri Lanka in the long run at our earliest. We were well written. If not, will be imported through the government to government importation systems rather than moving with up and down here and there with that person or this person. That should be transparent and all system. So this is the thing I want to tell. So I hope by next week, we'll be getting very good green light, I'm sure. That's why I got the support of 10 other people who are solid in their theory, not in theory, but their contribution to this policy. They were behind with us. Now we are accountable, we are responsible. We should make the empirical part of it also. When it comes, I very clearly tell to others, then it's up to our researchers, our research station, our scientists, and our system to manage it. I categorically mentioned the steering committee should be responsible to the Secretary of Agriculture, not because of Udit Jayasinghe, and to the Ministry, Department of Agriculture DG, not because of Ajanta. Anybody may be there, but Sri Lankan agriculture system should be responsible and should be dynamically run in transparent manner under these positions. If the medicos are or can be expelled by SLMC, if the engineers are working according to IESL, if the architects are working with their codes of practices, if all except agriculturists are working with without considering the prime, there is no point. Agriculturists should work as a group under one umbrella to achieve our agriculture system. That should be our view. If not, I would say the medicos will talk about soil people will talk about economics. I will have to go with and do surgery with our DACAT. Nothing other than anything we can do. So we don't want to do that. So all the ministry, businessmen, political system, research system, all farmers at the end of the day should be treated fair manner, and I'm sure that will be okay. If we can achieve that one, if we can work that one, we have still time to recover. I expect in the support of all of you, agriculture teachers, my good friends and our Goliaths, to achieve that objective. I am 100% sure 98% of people are with that vision and mission. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. We were working for the agriculture, so I'm really happy to be here after 33rd meeting. I started PGI career in 1995 and finished 1997. So when I come back from on the what is called Tsunami Day, I came to Sri Lanka. I think someone is there. Can you remember I came on that day? Someone knows there still. You were there, right? In the day? Yeah. And all people asked, but mole upset the gila. Tsunami that was Lanka out there. But I came and we started. So we don't want to see any other tsunami in another name and leave the country for any reason and stay and serve. We'll do it. Thank you.